Hello again. I'm back. It's State of the Union night here, which means that actually in my business I have the night off because our special events people are handling it, which means I get to ignore it, which is absolutely wonderful as far as I'm concerned, and maybe as far as you're concerned too. So we're here in Monterey, KMRY. And we're just going to fly up to San Francisco quickly. I've been dinking around, as you know, with my yoke, trying to cure the yips, which I've got. Somebody said, tongue-in-cheek, thank you for your last video comparing a cheap joystick with an expensive yoke. Now I can blame my joystick for my crappy landings. It certainly wasn't my intention. The fact is I am capable, as you well know, of crappy landings, whether I'm using a cheap joystick or a fancy pants yoke. It's just a question of getting used to one or the other, and I obviously wasn't used to the cheap joystick. So I'm doing my best to perfect my technique on the fancy pants yoke. Also, thank you to the viewer who pointed me to Todorico's little guide on how to change the engine in this plane in PlaneMaker so that it doesn't momentarily, for a couple seconds at least, overheat on start. So now it starts with both alacrity and correct temperature. And I also figured out how to capture a GPS approach on this, or at least I think I did. So we're going to put all of those elements together and get going here. It's going to be a very short flight, but it will be heavy on the techniques that I really need to learn just a little bit better, and that includes getting a feel for this airplane and a feel for the yoke so that I don't do things like this and yeek it and have it jump and jerk and do all the rest of that stuff. So we're going to do our best to not fly like some sort of spastic incompetent. A smooth incompetent, I'd settle for that. But anyway, so let's go upstairs here. We'll just move that out of the way. Get our battery power on. Check our voltages, they're fine. I don't know whether this simulates any sort of electrical shenanigans that would lead to a not fine indication here, but nonetheless. Turn the gens on and get our nav on, get our beacon going, because we're going to start up, and make sure our levers are in ground idle and cutoff/feather, and they are. Make sure I'm not in beta range, and I'm not, and let us extinguish these cautions, which are probably a result of trim being in a funny place. But at any rate, there we go. Pumps are on auto. Ignition is on auto. That should do it. Now, let's see how we start up this time. Wow, now, you see, it's already screwy because it's spooling up too quickly, but all right. Oh, and it's overheating like crazy. All right, well, that change in PlaneMaker did not actually fix the problem. But now we've got starter cutout. I think that's spooled up a little bit faster than I remember, at least. The last time I flew in a PT6 turboprop, which was an ancient King Air from out on Long Island to Cape Cod, and the engines did not spool up that quickly, but hey, who knows. At any rate, now that we are going, we can put our inverter on, and I love that sound. It's like straight out of a 50s movie. And just take a look here. And well, at least no ill effects from that start, but I'm gonna have to go back and do some more tweaking in PlaneMaker, because that may have been intended for X-Plane 11, not sure. But, oh, it looks good. Go to El Garmino here. Okay, make sure it slaves the HSI, and it does. Make sure our nav data is out of date, which it is, sadly, but nothing I can do about that. Let's, you know what, let's do. I don't have a command for popping this little thing up, so let's just do that while we're there. So you go into keyboard, search commands, pop up. Oh, well, pop up a lot of stuff. Oh, you know what? Let's go to plugin provided, RXP, GTN. Oh, everything's got a GTN prefix, which kind of makes it. Let's see, toggle. And sorry, got people calling up bitching about the State of the Union, and I didn't see it. Should be grateful, but now I'm wondering what I missed. All right, let's see. Pop up. FMS. No. GPS. Well, kind of. GPS. I guess we'll say Garmin. Yeah, why not? Okay, we'll assign that to that key. And that's fine. And now let's see if it pops up. Well, the wrong thing pops up. All right. Let's try one more time here. It's not the G430. And it's probably the GTN. Toggle, press, direct to, FMS, rotate knob, discrete input, toggle window visibility, there we go. All right, GTN 1, we'll make that 1. And now, as if by magic, there we go. All right, now I'm good. Not a complete moron. Well, complete moron, but that's beside the point. All right, so there we're on Monterey, and we will go to KSFO, and we're actually going to just go very simply by way of an approach procedure, and we will do. Is there a GPS? I want to do an LPV approach. Okay, there we go. 28 left, transition. We'll transition at Menlo, because that's logical with our direction of flight. We'll load the approach, and bing, bing, bing. These are mostly waypoints we would hit anyway. And that is all good. Let's just see where we intercept. Okay, Menlo's 80 miles from there. And just pull up that approach right now. 28 left. GPS. God, there are a lot of them. GPS Z. this isn't in the database, but let me just see if that's a nice one, and well, that's not the minima we're looking for. I just want a LPV approach so I can see, that's an LNAV, VNAV. That's an RMP, which I don't think we are qualified for. And let's find the 28 left. There we go. All right, yeah, so nice low minima and Menlo's where we come in on it. Let's come in at faith. Hang on, let's just change this. Come in at faith. Make it a little longer approach and we'll hand fly it, get a feel for the airplane. So that looks good. We'll load that, go back here, look at our map, and now our first waypoint should be Faith, which all things considered is not too far. Oh yeah, because this is showing a direct right now because this is not set up. Let's just go back and let's just explicitly put Faith in here. So insert before. I'm not sure if this is necessary. It probably will screw things up, but I'll study the POH for this thing and get back to you. But now what we've got is, if you look at our map, now we should have a magenta line that takes us to Faith regardless of whether we activate our approach. We're still going to be going to Faith. Yes, okay, now there's the white unactivated approach, and maybe that makes a difference and maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure, but we'll get it right. Anyway, we'll squawk Stanley Kubrick. Done and dusted. All right, that's good. The other thing we'll do is just on the odd chance that we totally screw up our arrival, let's just tune in 28 left's localizer so that we've got a backup to fall back on. It's an almost identical approach. And we can start it out at Faith also. Essentially, we're going to be following the same approach, only using GPS guidance instead of radio. But 10955, so let's just get that ready to go. Just sort of in the name of belt and suspenders, and up we go, and there we are. And already it's ID'd it, even though probably we're on the ground, it shouldn't, but it IDs it from the database, I guess. And that looks good enough. All right, all of our temperatures and pressures are fine. We're not climbing far enough to need to worry about pressurization per se, but let's just dial in our cruise altitude, which is going to be, let's make it 12,000. And there we are, and I think our altimeter right now is 3006. Okay. And we'll just dial in our cruise altitude directly because we're not following any departure procedures. We don't care. We're like Honey Badger. We don't give a shit. We don't even care if Jimmy cracked corn. And just make a mental note of when we get to the beginning of our approach, we're going to have to be at 7,000, so it's really not even that far to go. Yada, 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 yada. Let's also tune in San Francisco VOR, which is going to be 1158, so we have even more guidance. Put that in nav2, and do that thusly. Five and 8. that, and we see our RMI come alive, or die actually. We're nowhere near there. There's nav 2. Let's just, for extra special yucks, tune in a 284 radial, so that if we really want to, we can fly a VOR approach to our chosen runway. Now that we're really being ultra redundant, let's do a 4-ish. There we go. Can't imagine what else we should do. So let's get our takeoff flap set, takeoff trim set, check our annunciator panel. We are clean, we are clear, we are happy. We're good to go. Let's just check our airfield elevation, and that does match, and that's good. And let us, I don't know if we can arm this in the ground. I don't think we can. And the other thing is, watch this. I have the autopilot in here. Disarming the autopilot gets rid of the flight director also, which is not something actually I'd want to do. See, it even displays as flight director, but then it's not there. And it also disarms the approach mode. So let me just see if I'm set up a little bit wrong here for my autopilot. So joystick. Well, that's dandy. Yeah, disco servers and flight director, I don't want to do that. And there's no way just of discoing the plain old autopilot, so that sucks. All right, there are plenty of reasons you want to disconnect the autopilot but not disconnect the flight director. That's the whole point of the thing. The flight director is there so you can fly it without the autopilot. So this is something that hasn't changed in X-Plane in at least 3 versions. So let me just, crap. All right, well, we'll just make note of that and decide not to do something stupid here. A comment from Clive Northrop. Welcome back, Mr. Ramblings. Oh, well, thank you, Clive. And in the words of words of Robert Plant, I'll just ramble on. I don't have any syncopated drum beats to go with that, though, sadly. All right, so I think we are reasonably good to go. And my yoke is all screwy, but I'm going to continue to tweak that. I might just do a lap the airport here to get a feel for it, but we will taxi, and actually we'll taxi in beta mode. So I click on a clicker, and now I can move the plane back into beta mode. We are in ground idle on our condition lever. We're going to launch off of 28 left, even though we've got about a 5-knot tailwind. Oh hell, let's be correct. Let's launch off of 10 right. Let's actually do the right thing here, kids. I've managed to get my track IR tuned in again, which is a blessing, because I don't know if you noticed it before, but it was kind of jerky and janky. So we will tootle past the All Nippon Airways 737 here. Make note of that. An Aeromexico 737, which at least is reasonably accurate. Bunch of commuter jets. I'm sorry, regional jets. I'm betraying my age here. Also, there's a Hawaiian Airlines MD-80, which doesn't belong here. And let's see what else in this menagerie. I mean, the Aeromexico does not fly to Monterrey from Mexico, but at least it's not utterly implausible. Looks like we've also got Oh, LATAM. Okay. Geez, for a minute I thought we had a Hungarian Airlines or Romanian Taron here, but you know, we do what we can. We'll do a little Southwest taxi here. Let's get my rudder pedals where I want them to be. On my desk. Not on my desk, on the floor. And this is sort of a work in progress, the scenery, I think, for Monterey. I'm just wondering, no, it's not Greg Balson, because he's working on a version himself. And Orbix is coming out with a bunch. So this all could get really nice really soon. Monterey Peninsula is beautiful, and now Pilot Edge goes all the way through Northern California and all the way through Pacific Northwest, so there's really no reason not to fly here. And there's such a profusion of really good geography and really good airports that it's almost a shame not to. All right, so here we are. Runway 10 right. I'm sorry, 10 right. Let's stop here for a minute. I've got XP Realistic here, and I've got it turned down almost to nothing, but it still is garish and weird. But it does sort of provide kind of immersion, or at least a little bit of immersion. Somebody asked me if the Avidyne works, and I have to say I don't know. And the other thing I have to say is I don't know how to work it. So in a sense, I've got a lot more to do. It seems to have radar plus ADS plus some sort of map functionality. And honestly, don't know. And since I don't run any artificial traffic, I'm not really needing it for that. And terrain alerts are here, and I'm not using the radar on this thing at the moment, mainly out of ignorance, but so I'm really not going to mess with that. But let's see if we can get the flight director up, and of course we can't. And what's going to happen is when we depart here, I'll probably pitch for speed. I'll go into IAS climb mode and we'll clean up. And then we'll have all of the information we need. Let me just see if I can go into nav mode. And all right, there we go. So now I do get a flight director. And let's see if I can pre-arm a vertical speed. I wonder. Of course, I have to be able to press this button. And, well, possibly. Climb about 1,800 feet per minute. All right, so that seems to give us guidance, but I will bet you as soon as we're wheels up, this disappears and we have to reset all of it, but maybe I'm wrong. Nav is armed, so it expects us to fly a heading first. It's on the altitude, and there are no enunciations here, so I don't really know. But this altitude doesn't mean altitude capture. I've taken it to mean altitude arm, so maybe we're doing the right thing here. I don't know in real life how this autopilot works, but what we will do is get lit up properly and make sure everything else is fine, and check our annunciator panel, make sure it's clear. We'll also, in a second we'll sync up to runway heading. There's a gotcha in real-life Garmin's, and that is you don't ever want to arm heading mode on the ground because it doesn't actually work with reference. It will capture the heading you're pointing at instead of at the thing you set for runway heading, or words to that effect, so it can cause problems. But check our approach end and we're clear. Check our trim and our flaps, and that's good. Our lights are already good. We do have a rate of climb armed, but I don't know whether that's going to work. I'm really going to be aiming for a speed instead of for a rate anyway, but let's, that rate is more or less the speed that corresponds to that rate. So you can see our HSI is slaved properly, and let's just sync the heading bug. And doesn't let us, but all right. We'll just point the heading bug. And let's see what happens if we go into a heading mode first. Let's see, I just have to disarm that. No, it doesn't even let us arm the heading mode. All right, well, we'll arm the nav mode. We'll get airborne, we'll fly a heading, and we'll see what we can see. The other thing I want to do is make sure that my first leg is activated. Should be. Yeah, I don't think I have to explicitly activate that because it looks like I've got the gentle line already. I'm woefully ignorant in Garminology, and I should know better. But anyway, let's see. Flaps are set. Altitude is supposedly armed. Nav is set. Cautions are clear. We're squawking altitude. Frequencies are set. Lights are correct. And condition levers can come to full. Give us a little back pressure on the yoke. And I seem to still be in beta. Not anymore. I'm also going to dial in a little bit of right rudder trim here. Let me just, because we've got hellacious torquifying from this single engine. And let's, I'm all the way back on the yoke, that's not good. Let's go with our twitchy ground handling, let's go flying. Well, it does seem to be armed for nav mode. Okay, up we go. Looks like we can fly the flight director. We'll just roll into our turn here. Ease right into it. We're pitched for 100, which is about 1,800 feet per minute. That's good. A little bit mistrimmed, but let's see how we get on. Into the haze we go. A little bit of yippishness on my yoke here. A little bit too much force. Up can come the flaps. And actually, let me just capture IAS mode here because I don't want to fall out of the sky. There we are. Now there is no prop lever on this plane, so we can just rely on the one, and rate of climb is fine. I'm just looking at our temps. We're actually torque and not temp limited, so watch, I'm going to firewall the engines right now, and you'll see, I'll just don't firewall them gently. Our ITT in the middle there does not go into any danger zone. However, well, our torque doesn't either. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I do know we're climbing like Billy-O, as they say. And we can pop the yaw damper and the autopilot in, and let's see how we fly. Doing this mainly so that I can do the old John Fly zip and zoom here. And you can see we're going up like nobody's business. We're going to be coming down as quickly as we go up. Matter of fact, I'm probably a little optimistic on the altitude, but look at this, we're climbing at 3,000 feet per minute. I'm not sure how realistic that is. It is a powerful engine in an airplane that is designed to fly from some very short strips, so a little bit to the left, of course. I don't know whether that is my mistake or the autopilot's mistake, but that's close enough for jazz. And there is San Francisco pointing this way. God, you know, I don't know if there's a DME on this airplane. Shame on me for not looking. All right, it's immaterial, but we're pressurizing fine. And we're almost at our cruising altitude, and we're almost at our top of descent. Let's see how far we have to go. We've got 42 miles to go. When we come down, we're going to come down 5,000 feet, which means we need about 15 miles to do it. So we are 25 miles from TOD. Although this plane can fall out of the sky if you so desire, so it is not exactly. Let me just make sure. Doesn't, yeah, it says alt armed. I am armed. And it says wing level instead of nav. It should be saying nav. That's interesting. It shouldn't be armed. It should be flying the course. We'll figure out in due time whether that's actually correct. Always doubt your autopilot. Always assume. It's like my buddy who's teaching me how to fly. He said the first rule of a CFI is always assume your student is trying to kill you. I would imagine for any prudent real-world pilot, always assume your autopilot is trying to kill you. Let's get San Francisco's weather up here because we'll be there soon enough. And altimeter is 3. What? Oh, I'm looking in the wrong spot. 3008. 3103. It's like only possible if you're on Venus. So 3008. Beautiful day in San Francisco, no doubt. Push over there. Okay, let's just possibly move this just a little bit. This is annoying. My mouse doesn't have the resolution to do it. Come on, there we go. Okay. All right, we're safe. This, by the way, is standard X-plane weather, but with X enhancer or something, a Lua script, cloud replacements. So it actually, the clouds and the sky color look a little bit better, but it's mostly X-plane's weather, so you don't have the kind of weird problems you have with X and Viro, if they ever perfect that. All right, 31 miles, so in 15 miles we'll start coming down. And we will set altitude here. No, don't want to do that. I want to set an altitude. There we go. So let's set 7. We'll arm it. No, that disarmed it here. So we'll arm it. Check the enunciation. It still says wings level instead of nav. Alright, well, maybe that's a bug, maybe that's, I don't know what I'm doing. And unfortunately, we can't set a decision altitude either, so we'll just set a decision height, which we can set. And that's going to be 200. All right, and tweak our rudder trim a little bit. Out of whack. There we go. And we'll also set a course. You know what? We won't set a course. We should actually, that course should be slave. Yeah, there we go. Okay, it caught itself. I was going to set a course for the localizer mode in case we fly the ILS, which is 284. So the way I can do that is we can get into heading mode right now. Working. Is it working? Ooh, look at that. It's not working. That's fascinating. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll get out of the flight director, out of the autopilot. We will engage the autopilot, get in heading mode, flight director mode, and let's see if it works. That's weird. No, doesn't work. Look at that. Does not work. Shit. It's worked before. Does not work. Take out of nav mode. Loading scenery, and now maybe it'll work. Close to our TOD here. Alright. Now, oh, come on. Now we get rid of this. Shit. Alright, now we are in heading mode. I want to get out of heading mode. Just get us back on course here. Using heading mode. I'll switch the CDI, and I'll switch our course now to 284. Oh, come on. I'm sitting here groping around the sky at this point. Let's see. 0 to a 4, give or take. Alright, but we'll get back into GPS mode. And now, get back into nav mode. It should capture our course, and now let's start to descend. All right, where's the little button here that I can get rid of this piece of shit? Ah, where's the hot spot? Damn it. There we go. All right. All right, now we're going to go down. Down we go. Just in vertical speed mode now. Do it either way here, but we'll just close the throttles and send in IAS mode maybe. Doesn't really matter. I just want to overspeeding. No, I won't. Up a little, there we go. Okay, approach is activated. A little bit high, not too high. Actually, we're fine. How far away? We're 5.5 from Faith. We're 1,000 away. As a matter of fact, let's slow our descent considerably. Make sure our altitude is armed. Now we're going to slow a lot in 1 second here. Go. Just capture that altitude first. So on the approach. And now, with the approach armed and the altitude captured, we can set a new altitude. And with any luck, it will start to descend us when it should descend us. About to make the turn. That's Moffett. No, it's Moffett Field right there. There's our horizontal guidance right there already. And we're indicating terminal phase, and that's correct. Warning us our power lever position is low, which is fine because we'll slow down. Set runway heading. Done, and now let's take a look at that. And in a second we should be getting our approach lateral guidance. We can come down to 4,000 right now if we want. No, you're not supposed to be doing that. Trim a little bit. Okay. Now, I'm not low enough to merit a warning here, but watch, it's going to do it anyway. is Moffett Field. You see those two hangars? Those are for the old American versions of the Graf Zeppelin, basically. The Akron and the Canton. And that was back there at San Jose Airport. I think the Apple headquarters is on here yet, but it's right around there. Again, we're doing 28 left. Let's not confuse that. All right, still good. There's our final approach fix. Cooking along nicely there. So we'll come down to 4,000. 4,000 right about there. These at one point were the largest man-made structures in the country. Enunciating properly. Our altimeter is set. Approach is armed, but we are in nav mode. I see it says heading mode. This is, you know, I'm not entirely sure these enunciations are correct. Let's see what happens if I pop into nav mode. No, it still says heading. I'm on the magenta lines then, which is fine. I've lost my altitude arm also, which is wonderful. Yeah, the plane is bobbing, so I can't click on it. There we go, so that's armed. Certain mode changes seem to stealthily cause problems. Alright, our speed is good, our altitude is fine. Don't do that. There we go. Alright. These enunciations are still a mystery to me here. But let's just see. We are on track and we are on speed. And let's just fly the gauges here and see if it works. I don't know why this soft light is lit up, doesn't do anything. Also don't know if the real plane automatically disconnects yaw damper below a certain altitude, but we'll keep an eye on that. Again, we're not getting any vertical guidance. I think we can go down to 3, so let's go down to 3. Which is practically where we are already. Again, our approach is armed. I think we're okay. Get out a notch of flaps here. gear. Slower. Still not enunciating the approach type, but that's okay. Oh shit. No. I have not armed my altitude, which is bad. So I'll just fly the plane. Get back into approach mode. Get into altitude capture mode. That was sloppy. Get out of yaw damper mode. Really sloppy. Alright, so now we're enunciating. Now we've got our approach guidance. Now we can fly the damn thing. Gear down. Here comes our vertical guidance. Get my feet on the rudder pedals. That was bad. Get trimmed up a little bit. Flying straight and level at this point. Slow to our final approach speed. We have about a torque right about there, give or take. Alright, and we've captured, there we go. Yeah, except our flight director isn't reflecting it. See how our flight director is asking, you know what, this is bullshit. We're not getting any flight director guidance here. And it's saying we should climb, of course we shouldn't. Disconnect that, connect it up again, disconnect that, disconnect that, turn it on approach, turn it on there, okay. This is not correct. We're getting good lateral guidance. So I'm now following this instead of that. Damn it. I don't want to, and I'm also not getting any localizer precision guidance here either, which I should be getting. Alright, get on nav. So now I'm flying a rate of descent, and I'm just flying this meatball here, and now I'm going to fly the HSI here. I should be getting, right now, I should be getting lateral guidance down here. I'm not. Alright, well, screw it. I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. My heading's a little bit off here. Recapture. About 2 degrees more. That's good. All right. We'll recapture the heading. We're on glide path. We're on speed. Gear down. That's the wrong time to be texting me. Okay. A little bit of wind from the right, and I'm a little bit high. Profile. That's about the right rate of descent. Come back laterally here. There we go. Set a heading just about a degree to the right of our course. Should do it. Oh, pilot oscillation there. On profile in the slot. Drifting a little bit to the right, correcting. Okay, 700 feet to go. I thought this plane was going to be more, but it's not. Okay, a little to the left, of course, here. Making small corrections. To the right, 400 feet to go. I'm going to be left of center line here. There we go. Just a little high now. Down on the power. And there we are. Alright, now let's see if I can do this without the yips. Landing. Okay, a little bit of a crosswind from the right. Walk back the power. Walk back the trim. A little bit of a Is that a little bit of a bounce? Not bad. All right. I like this plane a lot. I'm not sure whether the autopilot and the flight director and everything else are exactly kosher. But we'll see. And with that, we just kill our cautions here. And I'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.